Podcast. 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 Yeah, welcome to another episode of the Racer X Exhaust Podcast, brought to you by Yoshimura, 65 years of four-stroke research and development. That includes factory exhaust systems for Honda's Geico Honda and Honda HRC, and also Honda HRC in Europe. But it also includes exhaust systems for whatever motorcycle you ride, a variety of brands, dirt, street, ATVs. I think they got cool side-by-side stuff now. You name it. So go to Yoshimura-rd.com. Thanks for them for backing this podcast. I am Jason Weigandt. I am going to make this intro record short because this interview is record long. Talking to the most outspoken agent in the business. That's the super agent, Lucas Mirtl, part of the Wasserman Media Group umbrella. That is a massive, massive media company and sports agency. They have had an action sports and motocross wing for a long time. And Mirtl, who first came on the scene originally, I knew him as Jeremy Martin's agent, is now the agent for, I think, like a dozen riders. And he's got a lot of stories to tell. And he's Australian, so you know what that means. He is unfiltered. So this is a wide-ranging podcast about not only what all agents do and what they should do, but also some specifics about his clients and the dealings and negotiations. This is about as far into the inside as we could get you without getting anyone in trouble. So enjoy it. All right, I have Lucas Mirtl with me now. I know it's fun to make fun of agents. People think of agents and lawyers kind of in the same basket, but I have to give you credit. Every time I want to cut you down, you come up with another client, you make another power move. It's getting kind of hard. I feel like you've built up quite a list, quite a bit of ammo, quite a bit of momentum. So you're just cruising along, just making tons of money and sipping umbrella drinks, right? Is that pretty much what you do nowadays?
I wish it was that simple. I appreciate the props. No, this has been the toughest off season for a while, actually.
Oh, really?
But no, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Well, you choose to make it that way. It can be not a lot of work, and then you can be not successful, right? Like it's like any other job. You get into it what you put out of it, right? Or vice versa, right?
No, for sure. A lot of people, it's not about doing, if I have more clients, I'm going to have more money. Yeah. I generally think of all my clients as, hey, I can help you. Like the more, each one of my guys, as cliche as it sounds, and it's not a lie, I genuinely love and care for, and they're a family to me, as I generally help and progress their life, everyday life, better. And obviously there's the agent side and the management side, which I do and take care of for all those guys. So it's not just like, hey, I'm the agent in the suit here. I'm at the test tracks. I'm a part of almost every part of their daily lives.
Well, yeah, let me help you here, because this is what I've heard, and it's not just from you and other agents. Some guys will say it almost gets to the point of like, it's not even almost worth the money at one point, because for some agents, you literally become the shoulder to cry on, the psychological counselor. And dude, when we're talking professional athletes, and especially in this sport, it is gnarly what these guys go through. And I have had agents, not even just you, be like, dude, when you are on the phone, on call 24/7 with these whack jobs in this weirdo high pressure thing they're in, it is a lot of stress, and it goes way beyond just dollars and cents.
Yeah, for sure. For starters, I don't think if you're just an agent, and this is a misconception a lot of people have, right? Is that we just do the deal. Honda calls me, for example, and then I'm like, hey, Jett Lawrence or Hunter Lawrence or Yoshimura, Honda just called me. This is the new deal. I'll send it over to sign.
And then you're done.
I wish that was like that.
Yeah.
It takes so much. So even if it was like that, and if you were just taking a commission or earning off that, I don't think the fees would ever be justified. What I really like to consider myself as more of a manager / agent,
Well, okay, here's my proof of that. And I'm trying to help you here because, again, people have a preconceived notion of agents.
Yeah.
What I've noticed, certain agents, some agents aren't as involved as others, but the ones that are involved, I can tell what riders they work with based on the rider's persona. We all think you're just getting the rider's personality, but the agents, the good ones, because they're managers, really do help. And dude, everyone remembers Straight Rhythm like 4 years ago. Villopoto shows up on a 2-stroke. He gets beat by Stank Dog, and then he smiled and drank a beer. And dude, I was announcing with Rick Johnson, and he's like, I just gained more respect for Villopoto from that than I did watching him win 4 straight titles. Like, what a cool guy. What a chill guy. He's here to have fun. Dude, that was the beginning. That was the Lucas Mirtl in the background. I know that you helped Ryan work on that program. He went from surly, I don't tell anyone anything guy, to everyone's favorite rider now. And you are a part of that.
Yeah, we just had fun with Ryan.
Right.
When I took over Ryan's stuff from Bobby Nichols, it was that transition period. We kind of didn't really have much on the table.
Yeah.
For Ryan, it was like, okay, where do we go? Do we just become a brand ambassador? Which, you know, it's so, what does that mean? Right. Like, do I just go out and demo new bikes and say these are the best things ever? Right?
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm not into doing those boring deals, or there's no, you know, it's not authentic, right?
Right.
So the biggest part of Ryan, and you probably know Ryan as well as you know, more than the outside public does, he's a funny dude. Like,
yes, behind the scenes, he was always like that. Right.
Yep. Yeah, and people are starting to see it. So
yes.
The only thing that was really changed on my part was, I'm like, no, this is great. You know, this is really good. Like, do that. You know, this. You know, and we had to wind it down a little because it can go a little far. As you've seen a couple of pop shows.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing was like, hey, be you now. Like, be you, and let's have fun. And people gravitate to it. They really responded to it. The more he, you know, came out of his shell, and the more he did, you know, opened up, the more Breed like was successful and responded to positively. And then it's just really grown. He got confidence in it, you know, and confidence in being himself, you know, because since he could probably remember, he's been, you know, thank this guy, do this, be here, you know,
right.
It was always under the strictest schedule these guys are on, you know. So for him to come out and we had great partners that embraced it, it just really snowballed into something, I think, great, you know, and like he says, the greatest retired guy of all time.
And you know what? He can say that, and it makes people smile and laugh. Like, it doesn't make people like try to put some stats on paper and compare it. So yes, so what I'm using here is, and Villopoto is proof, your line has always been just be genuine, just be yourself. If it pushes the envelope a little bit, that's better than going all the way. I'd rather push almost too far than just be super boring. But that's awesome to know that you know that brands in the industry are okay with that, because I always hear fans saying like, oh, they can't be cool, the sponsors don't let them. You don't really find that to be true.
I push every one of my clients to be honest, genuine, and tell it how it is.
Yeah.
I'll be the first to say, you know, I don't think they're honest enough. You know, I don't think people are held accountable, or, you know, if you say something, it is something, mean it, or, you know, promote it.
And if you think something, say it.
Yeah, and say it, right? Like, you look at other sports, right? Sports Center on a Sunday night, they're not running sound bites from Tom Brady going, you know what, it was a great day, I've got the best teammates. No, they're running a sound bite from, let's just say Dak Prescott, right? Getting pissed off because he got blown out by 40 points, right?
Right.
He's probably telling it how it is. That's going to lead, right? And that's me as a fan. I want to hear that. I don't want to see a guy get blown out by 40 points and go, you know what, next week will be better, and this didn't work today. It's not going to make it on SportsCenter, you know? And so, you know, essentially, Supercross and Motocross, it's a sport, but it's also entertainment, right? And to be successful in the sport, you have to get good results, but you also have to be even a better entertainer, right? So, and the best way to entertain people is be genuine. Show them who you are. And that doesn't apply to every client I have, but there's certain guys like a Villopoto or the Hunter Lawrence or the Jett Lawrence, the donut incident, you know, or even Justin Cooper when he at Colorado, where he kind of got up on the podium and he said, you know what, I think it's crap. He ran up the inside of me and he told it how it is, and that the industry gave him backlash on that. But guess what? These are the things that I tell Joey, I tell all my clients. They may backlash. It may be too confronting for our industry right now, but this is the thing they will love you for in 3 years' time, 4 years' time, as your base understands you, as your fans do. So ultimately, I'm always pushing that honesty. Be who you are. If you're pissed off, let Steve Masters, Weege, or Daniel Blair, whoever on the podium, whatever, let them know. Because people are paying a lot of money to be a part of the sport and understand it, to not just be fed a heap of lines. That don't interest me as a fan, and I'm a fan of the sport first and foremost.
Right. Yeah. So what you're saying is, okay, yeah, Justin Cooper was not happy with the Cianciarulo course cutting, and he did get a lot of grief being like, dude, stop whining, stop complaining. But at least 3 years down the road, Justin Cooper has carved a reputation for something. He's known for something. He's known for being outspoken, or he's known for, don't be nothing, be something. And even if people don't like the something all the time, at least you're known. At least you've got a personality, as opposed to nothing. Being nothing is the worst case scenario.
I think so. For me, for an agent, for me selling and saying, going to a company, it goes as deep as this. Hey, Honda, he believes in what he believes in. And if he believes in your product and your race bike, he's going to be 10 times the ambassador or asset for you to sell Honda motorcycles and products, because he's honest, right? People will respond and connect with that message way more than someone who's like, well, last year he was just rattling off 25 sponsors on the podium. So what does that mean? What does that actually connect with people?
Well, look, a perfect example is, you can honestly say that when Villopoto was winning titles, he wasn't like bowling over the fans. Like, everybody obviously respected the result, but I don't think people were leaving the stadium every night being like, dude, Villopoto, he's my guy. Like, they respected the result, but that was about it never. It wasn't like the Beatles have come to America. Oh my God, I got to see this guy in person. He just won races. Sure. Yeah, so there's the difference. Yep.
And like the outdoors and stuff. The guy winning the 450 class this year is very much Villopoto. You wish, and nothing bad against Eli. Don't you wish he embraced it a little more?
Yeah, no, you're right. And, okay, so that's perfect. It leads to my next thing. Right, it's not like Eli Tomac is this bombastic personality. It's not like Villopoto was when he's winning. You've probably had this conversation with Ryan Villopoto. How hard is it to be both? It's easy to be the retired guy and drink beer and smile. But how hard is it to be at the tip of the spear results-wise and be cool at the same time? Because I would imagine that it's the higher you get on the pecking order, the harder it is to be yourself and not become a robot, because of the pressure and the people pulling on you and everything. I would think it's hard at the top.
There is a lot of pressure. There's no doubt that it's a super tough job these guys have. And I explain it to people, like friends who aren't in the space, right? Imagine working all week, right? And for 20 minutes on a Saturday night, people judge how good you are at your job.
Yep,
right?
On 20 minutes. Yep.
On 20 minutes, right? Like, imagine how hard we all work, how hard we do it. I get the pressure, right? I absolutely get the pressure. For the bigger guys like that, there's a lot of expectations, right?
Right.
Ryan Villopoto always told me if he wasn't happy to win, he was relieved that he won.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So you get to that point.
Yep.
Now, do I think that's right? Do I think we can change that? 100%.
Oh, you think so?
Yes, I agree. I think, with my younger clients and to give longevity in the sport, we've got to enjoy every moment, guys. We've got it. This can be over in a minute. We learned how I learned that big time in Tennessee 2 years ago with Jeremy Martin Lane in Bristol Hospital. I realized it can be over like that. You can be literally on top of the world the week before with the red plate to now where I'm calling every spine doctor in America, where it's all hands on deck, wondering if this may be the end.
Yeah.
Someone you deeply care about,
Right.
So in saying that, like they've got to enjoy it, and I'm the big pusher of that. Enjoy the moment, and really just be happy, that you're here, because it can finish tomorrow.
Yeah, but when a guy like Justin Cooper wasn't like this. He'd only been around about a year and a half on the pro scene anyway, and before that he wasn't really known. Then all of a sudden he starts getting results. He says what he thinks about seeing Cerullo. He gets some backlash. Was he like, dude, I don't like this. I'm getting heat for the first time in my life? Or did he get it that sometimes you got to get a little bit of that for the long run of, okay, at least I'm being myself and this is actually good for the long run? Or that's got to be shocking, I guess is what I'm getting at, the first time a dude gets heat from fans. And if you're Eli Tomac's level or Ryan Villopoto's old level, you're getting heat for everything you do if you don't win. It's got to be tough. Yeah.
For sure. It's always jolting, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's heat for all of us. I think even when I see bad stuff written about me or, or even about my clients, it is still jolting. We're human, right?
Yeah.
And, you got to put it to the back of your mind. You got to store it in your mind in a place that, okay, that will always be there. And so the first few times, I think, for any of the guys, maybe that didn't work and you overanalyze it, or now the more you become comfortable with who you are as an athlete and as a spokesman, as a professional, you realize that's just a part of it. That you are not going to keep everyone happy.
Well, the credit I give you here is you were on the Hunter and Jett Lawrence tip way in advance. You are Australian, they are Australian. Give me your background, though. This is not an Australia thing. This is, you've long since moved from Australia. You didn't know the Lawrences like when they were 5 years old, did you?
No.
This is not a master plan. How did you get to where you got in the first place?
I honestly, and I've said this before to other people, I've even said this to you, no one watches more motocross and supercross racing than me. I'll go head to head with anyone with who watches the more laps of racing per year.
You're not getting cocky here. You're just stating facts.
No. I think that's my job. I've got to identify talent. I've got to be able to help. And saying that, what I love about MXGP is I can watch it live on TV, but I also on my computer, and then I also have that live lap sheet, right? So this is how the Hunter Lawrence thing really came about, is the live lap sheet. So you can see they have purple and green, and if you hit a segment, the fastest. So usually you're seeing the top three just hitting the colors, right? And I'm watching the race, and and it's focusing on the leaders. And this number 96 kid on Suzuki in 12th and 11th and 9th was hitting fastest segments at the 20-minute mark, right? And I'm like, dude, actually, I'll pay attention to that because this kid's coming through. And I was looking at lap times. He's running the same lap times as the leader, And he'll come back to 6th or he'll come back to 5th. And I'm like, and obviously, it's that young Australian kid, So I watched it. And then I think it was Tushenthal, or I can't pronounce it right, was the one event he got third at, his first podium. And I'm like, holy dang it, I like what I'm seeing, because as an agent, I want to see heart, and I want to see that you can make it the whole way, make it to the end of the moto. So it was appealing to everything I really look for. So I knew they were training with Ken Heiko, Ken's dad. Ken was a client of Wasserman's. And a good friend of mine. So I called Ken and just got a little background on it, and then I just reached out directly to Hunter, right? And just literally was like, hey, I like what I see. Great future. How about you give me the opportunity to test the temperature of the water over here for yourself. If I find something, great. If not, hey, no harm, no foul. You're doing great, and I'll be a big fan. And it kind of just grew. I think there was two teams really interested in him. One being Geico Honda. They believed in him, and it's funny. They believed in him long before he won that Florida GP.
Well, I knew that, but did they believe in him? Were you presenting the idea to them before they were even thinking about it? Because you definitely were on the leading edge, is what you're saying. You were kind of on the Hunter Lawrence tip early. By the time you got to them, did they know, or were you like, hey, you don't know who this kid is, but let me tell you?
They hadn't even heard.
They had not heard of him?
They had not heard of him.
Okay.
No. But, I have great relationships with most teams in the pit, really good relationships. So, at first, I'm sure they're like, okay, Lucas, calm down. What's going on here?
Yeah.
And then I said, just gave them the facts. Like, let's watch this. Mm-hmm. Let's watch this some more. And it was Daytona. 17.
Daytona.
Yeah. Daytona 17.
March.
Is when
wow.
I went there. Heiko was there, and that's where I started to have the first serious talks with manufacturers there about the Lawrences.
Yeah, that's really early.
Yeah, it was. I won't forget because I know Heiko was over. So, and Heiko told me, I love this family, don't mess it up.
Oh, nice.
So, I'm like, okay, Heiko.
Okay. No, that's early to be in the Hunter Lawrence thing, because that's literally 6 months before the podiums that he had at the end of that season in GPs.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember you at Redbud talking him up, and you're like, dude, 2 teams are going for it, and I just thought, this is classic agent just blowing smoke, like, no one cares, there is no negotiating, there is no bidding, and then you threw in, he also has a brother. So that was the first time I had even heard of Jett Lawrence. So how did that come about also? At the same time, or unconnected?
I knew Jett long before actually Hunter, because Jett won the 65cc world title a few years before that, while I was still living in Australia. So Jett won that. So Australia media picked up on that. Australia motorcycle media picked up on that. So I knew of him. It didn't make me go, oh my God, I got to sign a 65cc year old kid.
Yeah.
But I just knew of it. Knew of him. So at first it was about Hunter and making sure Hunter was taken care of. Jett was doing his thing in Europe, doing great, and then we moved on to really getting Jett's stuff handled.
Okay, now you say you have a great relationship with these teams, but then when you get, and yes, you go to all the races, which goes a long way toward that for starters. But when you have to negotiate, and this isn't just for the Lawrences, this is for any of your clients, how does that relationship change? Because suddenly it goes from, I'm trying to help you get talent, to I'm trying to get you to pay my guy more money. So how does that part work? Do you eventually rub people raw? How do you maintain it?
It's not quite like the knockdown, drag out everyone would love to think it is.
Okay.
I think the biggest part of myself and Wasserman, who I work with, is having so much talent, and that's a big asset to my clients, of me representing so many clients and having such a strong team, is that I dictate market value. I can dictate market value, and I will get that 99% of the time. So teams know that. I know where everything should land, and then we go from there. There's a few cases where there'll be a guy everyone must have, where you can rise. There will be, inverted commas, a bidding war, but generally not my style to run up prices and do that. I think market value is usually 99% of the time fair, but there will be situations for certain talent where they will fetch high premium and have a must-have. And from there, it's landing at where it needs to land, But generally, I will stick with market value at the time. Now, we're always pushing that market value higher. That's our job. But it's also our job is, number one, before money. And I can't stress this enough. And people, I need them to be successful. So with every client, I will tell them before money, before you look at that last page of that contract, which they also, can we win on this program? Can you achieve your goals on this program? That, to me, is number one. Money second. And maybe I'm different to other agents, and maybe that people will say you're full of shit, whatever. No. I would rather be earning bonus, having my client leaving in a rental car, heading to a restaurant, earning a bonus check, than them earning a huge salary and telling me how bad the program is and that bike sucks. And that's a miserable Saturday night to Sunday traveling home, So I stressed. They're the ones I regret. Is when we do something because the money was higher. It's almost guaranteed to fail.
Right, because this is where you said you're not just there when the contract gets signed and then you see them the next year.
Yeah.
They're on you on the phone when they are pissed. You're the first person they're calling to vent.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
And then you got to deal with it. Yep.
And it's not nice when you've got 2 years to go and we're third round in and the world's ending and this is the worst motorcycle I've ever ridden.
Okay, you mentioned that because of working with Wasserman, so you have a lot of clients, they have a lot of clients, you know what market value is. Do you think there are certain agents that literally, so you basically know what everyone is making, your clients and other riders, is that safe to say? Do you think some agents don't even know that?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
okay. There's a lot of guys going blind. You know, and it's tough, and that's where the advantage is of being with a big agency like Wasserman or being my client. For that fact, like that's not bad. And if you're an agent doing that, that's okay because you're then probably more in a role of, hey, I'm just going to help you what the team presents you, right? Mm-hmm. And that's cool. It's kind of taking that load off the family or off that client, acting so you don't have to deal with it. You know, as well as doing that, I believe with myself, we're constantly looking for new opportunities, constantly in talks. And you've seen it. You know I'm at every race. I'm talking to every team years in advance of their roster or what could move. If this guy goes here, what are you thinking? You know? So.
Oh, yeah, you are big on that. Explain that a little bit more in detail. Especially in 250 class or young amateurs, because of the way pointing out rules work and lineups have to be set, we're getting to the point where it's almost 3 years in advance. You've talked to me about this quite a bit. You are really trying to think far out.
I think the magic number is like for any bigger deal or anything, you know, a bigger player guy consistently podiuming guy that could be a champion. For a guy like that to reach his maximum earning potential within the contract, those deals they're 18 months in advance to about 8 months in advance.
Wow.
I don't get to the outdoor season with anyone who's a real contender. Normally, you know,
that's too late.
There is other cases where you know, scenarios don't fall in your favor. But anything like that, as a good agent or as a good manager and a good representative of them, we're in discussions long before their current agreement's dead.
Right. You're saying if it's Redbud, if it's July, you are way too late to get the big deal.
Yeah, it's not a good situation. None of us want to be there.
Yeah,
for sure.
Right. So with pointing out and all these things, does it keep pushing? I've noticed teams are having to work this way. They're having to push further and further in advance, years in advance, to try to make sure they don't put themselves in a tough spot that they didn't see coming.
Yeah. Or you can just bench the guy in Vegas like people do.
And then he ended up riding for another team.
That was one of the better ones I've heard.
Well, okay, you and I talked about that, and you're like, yeah, you shouldn't ever let yourself get put in that situation. We're talking about one particular situation, but you've tried to have it figured out where you don't get into that, where that doesn't creep up on you. Oh, crud. Yeah. We didn't see this coming.
Nothing to do with that situation, nothing for me. But yeah, I feel like there's no way Lucas Mirtl or Wasserman would let a situation get to that point where, we're pointing out. You know, and that's what it looked like to me. And maybe I'm wrong.
Okay.
But I feel like it looked like that to all of us. Like, what is Seattle? There's no way he's going to ride, you know?
Yeah.
You know? And that like, straight up, he ain't riding.
Right.
There's zero chance. Like, there's no other option.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty obvious what happened there. And I think, you know, AMA should really look at that. You know, if you're trending, it should be more of an average.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's hard to come up with a rule. But anyway, hard to come up with a rule that's perfect. But I will say, like, last year when I knew that JGR was talking to Alex Martin, J-Bone said that they had to figure out all these rules in case he won a title. What would happen? Yeah. Where does he go? Yeah. How does this work? And this could potentially be summer of 2018 talking about summer of 2020. But what happens if he wins something? So that's how complicated it's getting now. Yeah.
I have our lawyer Scott Lindley. He is so well versed in all that. That's my go-to call on all that. So actually most of the teams will be like, "What's Scott think?" You know. So we're probably the expert in that area.
Gotcha.
To get them the direction.
All right, let's get away. If this is, I don't want to get too boring here.
Oh yeah.
All right, so another example is, so we've got Jett Lawrence. Now fans are going to say, well, if Villopoto's being a lot more fun and open because Lucas Mirtl is encouraging it, oh, I see, that's how Jett Lawrence is operating. But no, I'm hearing everyone say, for the most part, Jett Lawrence is just being Jett Lawrence. You couldn't contain him even if you wanted to.
No, he's just having fun. He's a 16-year-old kid who essentially grew up racing 85s in the GPs, so everyone would be high-pressure situation. He just shows up, wins an 85cc race at an MXGP round. He doesn't care. He does not get stressed out about the situation or the scenario he's in. He's having fun. Absolutely, yeah. Everything you see on Jett Lawrence is completely genuine. Not rehearsed or pushed. He wanted the donuts up there. They had to buy him that morning. If I win, I'm eating a donut.
Right, but he wanted the donuts because that was his reward for winning. It was not, hey, if we do this on the podium, it'll play off, people will laugh, it'll help me gain followers.
I think he wanted to eat the donut. He did.
Yes.
He wanted to eat the donut, for sure. And he actually did. So, no, it wasn't rehearsed. I just let it go. And it's great.
And
it's the 2 years.
And what also was hilarious is that he was running the "my brother is my sister" thing, which was already a little bit funny, but even funnier when people are like, hey, I don't know if nowadays you're allowed to make jokes like that. But then everyone said, but he's a 16-year-old Australian dirt bike rider. If anyone should be pushing the envelope, whatever, saying stuff that's a little bit edgy for these days, I mean, really, that was nothing. That's almost like his brand. Like, he should be like that. He's a 16-year-old Australian dirt bike rider. Of course he's saying stuff like that. He shouldn't be caged in like the rest of us have to be these days. Yeah.
Yes. So ridiculous that I see comments on that. I'm a kid from Kalgoorlie, gold mining town in Australia. I grew up listening to way worse than that. So
yeah.
You're asking the wrong guy because I don't get.
Well, no, here's the point I'm making. I think for the most part, he said that and people thought it was cool and funny. He can get away with this stuff where other people can't.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
And I told him eventually, look, we're going to have to walk back. I even told you this.
Yeah.
We are going to have to walk back a few Jett Lawrence and Hunter Lawrence comments in the future.
It's going to happen.
Good with it. And I'm good with it.
Okay.
Do it. It's fine.
Yeah, because you'd rather push a little too far and say oops than do nothing at all.
Yeah, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
I'm glad you're around. I'm glad you're around. Okay, so Jett Lawrence goes to Loretta's. You know, he kind of, look, it was under the radar. He's on the Geico team. Hunter's on the team. His brother comes with him. But you told me there wasn't a package deal. Like, it was two separate deals.
Each guy, their own company. Each guy, their individual, you know, eventually could be on different teams in the 450 class. So, no, each guy represented individually by myself. Now they train and work together, ride together every day.
Right.
But as far as the business is concerned, with Darren and Emma, both boys are separate. You know.
Okay,
and that's only fair. If what's best for Hunter moving forward may be different for what's best for Jett.
Sure. You know? Jett ends up on the Geico team. It's a little under the radar because not a lot of people were paying attention at that point, but you were. I give you credit. Then he goes to Loretta's and blows everybody's mind. I mean, I just cannot believe the riding style. Forget the results. I just cannot believe the riding style. It looks like he's going 80% and still going faster than everybody else. And then the personality comes out. Then he wins Monster Cup. The personality comes out even more, and it's like, well, maybe he can even race Supercross. How much has the Jett Lawrence thing changed in the last 4 months? Let's say like last June through now, and now suddenly he's there saying, hey fans, you want me to come race Melbourne Supercross? How about that? Suddenly, seems like there's some leverage because he is hot right now.
Yeah, there is a lot of interest for sure. We predicted this. And Jeff Myshak and Ziggy, we knew it was going to kind of go like this.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like oh my God, my phone's going off. No, a lot of that was, if he won Monster Cup, right, it opened the playbook for what we were going to do next, right, within Shift, within his other sponsors,
okay,
with outside races and whatnot. We didn't make a move until we had that platform, right? Because then, you look premature, if that makes sense, right? So we knew with every step we make, with Jett, result-wise and media-wise, that we had a plan in place.
Is your phone, though, blowing up? Did that happen? Like, post-Loretta's through now, is it a lot more calls about Jett Lawrence than there were?
Yeah, for sure. More interest, but we already had a solid plan in place, so it wasn't like, oh, this just spun us for a 360. We now have this opportunity.
Right.
We predicted it, and we're, Jeff, Ziggy, Darren, Emma. Mm-hmm. It's just business as usual. It's the plans. It's just like a well-made plan coming together, for sure.
So what you're saying here is, if you had called AME, who runs the series over there, like these New Zealand and Australia races, if you had called them in June and said, I can give you a 16-year-old phenom kid, the reaction that they would have given you in June versus if you call them after Monster Cup, same pitch, same guy, same everything, is going to be totally different. You had to wait.
No, I did have those phone calls earlier, saying, hey, if this flourishes the way it's trending, make sure there's some budget there.
Okay.
Yeah. So like
you planted that seed.
Yeah, the seed got planted long before, and with any partnership, we want it to succeed. And hey, if this all hits this right, you guys look like heroes on this.
Yeah. Is it happening? Do you know? Is he in?
Get close. Yeah.
He's in for these races.
Yeah. You should see Jett hop on a plane this offseason.
Okay.
Getting super close.
Does that mean he has to race a 450 though?
No, he'll be on a 250.
Okay. Oh,
if
all right.
It happens, Weege.
If it happens. Yeah. Here's what I'm trying to say to the fans here. When I see Jett Lawrence win Monster Cup, and then suddenly he's on Instagram saying, hey, how many fans would like to see me race in New Zealand and Australia? I know that that's not just Jett Lawrence on his own doing that. Most people probably don't realize that, but I know how this works. There's a more orchestrated plan, and what I'm trying to explain to people is agents are involved with more than just the contract negotiation. There's a more orchestrated plan than it appears on the surface. Yeah.
Big time.
Yep.
It's 2019. There needs to be a plan in anyone's business. If you're a car mechanic whatever you are, I think to really do the best job and succeed in this world, it takes a lot of planning and a lot of thought. So I agree.
Okay. So, hey, the Lawrence brothers, that hit. People didn't know who they were. You got them on a great team. They're hot right now. That's good. Justin Cooper had a great season. That's hot. That's good. But you said 2019 offseason has been one of the most difficult ever. So we've talked about some wins. It's not a loss yet. We don't know how it's going to end up. But let's talk about some of the tough parts. Which client has been very, very difficult to place?
It's obvious. The Joey Savatgy thing.
Yes.
Has been, an eye-opener. Eye-opener for me as an agent, for Wasserman as a whole, and for the industry, for that fact, right? To get their head around. The reality of the Joe Savatgy situation was this. There was a Honda ride, and there was a JGR ride open, right?
Yep.
We've been in talks all year with both manufacturers, right?
Yep.
So no stress. Like, come San Diego Supercross, not really. I wasn't stressing. I felt we had a great product.
San Diego, February or something like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we were early. Don't quote me on the dates, but yeah, we were super early, and we felt. I felt the Savachis, Joey, Johnny Amara, everyone in his circle. We were cruising, feeling super confident. We're getting the results. We kind of had a plan mapped out where it will land. A lot of conversations, and Honda went a different way. And it was super disappointing. Honda was talking to a lot of people. They went a different way. So then where that situation led us was JGR. Normally not a big issue, right? We were far down the road with JGR. Now they've got into their issues with theirs. So literally everyone's blowing it up more. If it wasn't for JGR being not able to announce or get their deals done in a tough sponsorship environment, it wouldn't have even been a story.
Yeah. That's the whole thing. Savatgy is merely a victim of circumstances here. No one is saying his results weren't good enough or he didn't show enough potential to get a ride.
There would have been 5 teams. If there was 5 rides, we would have been signed in by Vegas, and I thought we were super close in Vegas with the manufacturer there. In fact, I kind of left there thinking, cool, it's gonna be a cool cruisy off season. Let's go. It'll be a great deal. I thought we were pretty strong, and then it swung back the other way on us. And then obviously with Suzuki having, needing to get stuff done with, on their end and taking time, it's kind of pushed probably where he lands back,
Well, yes, and JGR got hit, by surprise also. I mean, I don't think they expected, as they've told me, they had a contract with Suzuki, so they thought, well, this part we know is set as far as what we're getting from Suzuki, and then Suzuki's trying to change that. They probably won't, but it's definitely messed up what they thought they had.
It's just pushed them back. It's tough on Joey. It's tough on his family. But they're strong. They've been through worse. It's all going to work out.
But how much has this become the other side that you're saying, like, dude, now you're the shoulder to cry on. Now you're the therapist. It's got to be. This has got to be the tough part.
No, it is tough. It's Joey's a tough kid. He's been through a lot, mate. He really has. He's put it up there, and he's one of the most successful guys. If you look at him as a product out of the 250s to now the 450, he's a premium athlete. Super premium. Like when I develop talent, you would love to go through to almost winning 2 Supercross titles, to winning outdoor races, having red plates as a 250 career. You can't scoff at that,
This is excellent agent talk here. You are correct. Your facts are correct, but I just like. I'm getting an idea of how you speak and how you pitch. I like it. It's true. Yep.
There's no pitch. It's just the truth and believing in it, But Joey has had it tough, but he was on a factory Kawasaki this year.
Yeah.
We always knew, and let's make no mistake, I always knew when Cincerello got that red plate and started clicking off wins, I knew we were in trouble.
Yeah.
That's their golden child. Nothing bad against Adam, nothing bad against the guys at Kawasaki. They've invested a lot of money. And me and the Savatgys knew we're in trouble here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And not trouble, like, okay, let's get to work. You can't, being upset or emotional about it ain't going, we still have races to go to and whatnot. We have a job to do.
Yeah.
So make no mistake, we knew getting into it that it was most likely, no matter how well he did, like if he won 2 Supercrosses and Adam riding the way he did, Adam rode himself into that ride. Joey rode himself into that ride. They had to make a choice. And I wasn't going to sit there and go, oh, we've got the Cowie. I was preparing that we never had that ride.
Yeah. They had never said that. Like, it wasn't like, hey, Joey, you will only be here for 1 year no matter what. Like, if Cincerello struggled and they didn't have anyone moving up and Joey did good, maybe they bring him back. But
there was options.
Yeah,
there was options if he achieved certain things in his contract, which execute an option year.
I see.
But it's that's also hard to attain those kickers when it's your rookie year.
And it's 450 class. Okay. I see. If he goes out and wins the Supercross championship, they're probably going to keep him.
Yeah, for sure.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
No, for sure. Kawasaki was open and honest. So to me, they were. I don't have any gripes there. They were pretty. We knew early. I knew early anyway. Myself personally, what we had to get done.
Yeah, which is hilarious because on the other end, the Adam situation, he's denying and Cowie's denying that there's, no, I'm not signed. But on the way in the background, you have more information than the people on the front do about how these things are going. Yeah. Not like you cared. You thought you had a Honda or JGR, at least some deal.
Yeah, I wasn't stressing. My Joe was getting great results, qualifying P1 at races and winning heat races and going top 5s. So
yeah, no,
if anything, I'm going to be very strict and harsh on clients about that expectation once we go to that 450 class. That's the lesson learned. I'm going to, before you'd be jumping up and down. Fourth, you're making it, you're doing it. Kind of not the case anymore. You got to win in that class. If not, you're at the mercy of whose rides are up and who likes you.
I guess, but I feel like Savatgy's situation is pretty unique. I feel like in a 10-year span, you do what he did.
To
sure.
give the right advice to a family and a kid starting in the 450 class.
Yep.
Right? And especially on a 1-year deal.
Yep.
Right? The expectation now has to be winning.
I guess so.
If not, I'm giving the wrong advice, and people may go, "Oh, you're being out there." No.
Well, the proof is in this, but I feel like if somebody did this for 10 years, 9 years, they're going to get a ride, and then this one weirdo year, it didn't work. But let me ask you this part. So the Honda thing didn't work out. This isn't because you negotiated too hardball, is it? Were you we're only riding for this?
No.
How does that work?
Not at all. And that's not my style.
Okay.
That's not my style. I think you got, especially, you can't do that as a second rider, right?
Okay. This is good info. So you have to know that going in. You can't bend them over.
Honda has Ken Roxon at a high premium, and as a second rider, it was very clear where that lands for them, what would make comfortable. So we literally go to them more like, hey, we want to be a great partner. We want to be that second ride. We want to win races. Where does that land for you guys? You don't come in saying it lands at a certain value. If not, we're out. That would be just gross negligence.
Okay, all right. So it never came down to that where you were you just played your hand too strong or something like that.
No, not at all. I don't think I don't think I'm employed or retained by clients to overplay my hand. At this point, with the clients I have, I don't think I ever, at this state of my career, I don't overplay my hand.
So, by the way, do you even know, can you even say, where is he at right now?
Yeah, I can. He's in Florida.
Okay, that's fair. That is true. That's good. I mean, I was just at JGR last week. Everybody watched a video. I'm sure you did. They don't seem quite as worried as it probably looks on the outside. I mean, they are worried. Everybody would love to have everything locked up, in July, not November 1st. But I don't know.
For sure. No,
yeah.
I'll go as far as saying this. I think it's really disappointing, and it's disheartening for the guys like J-Bone, Coy, all the employees with how much time they've put and money they've invested. What is this? 15? How long have they been?
I think this would be the 13th season. I think it's 12 years going into 13, I believe.
Space.
Yeah.
13th year in the space, right?
Yeah.
I'd say they're near on $30 to $35 million invested into the sport.
Seriously, bro?
Yeah.
What?
More. And then,
oh no, you're right. Yeah, you're only saying $3 million a year for 10 years. It's $30 million. Yeah.
Maybe more.
No, you're probably right. Oh my gosh.
We cannot lose a team like that. We cannot lose Coy Gibbs. We can't lose a J-Bone, right?
Yep.
And it's super frustrating, and I get it, and you take emotion out of it. But those guys have done more for this sport than a lot of people. They've employed and taking care of a lot of athletes and employees, and it's
oh yeah,
it's disappointing where all of a sudden, I get it. We're in an age if it bleeds, it leads. In the news, people will jump on, the carcass of JGR. I would really wish in the future we get behind people like this and prop them up and help save them media wise, fan wise. And even the industry, from AMA to Pro Sport, MX Pro Sports to Feld, to have someone put that much investment in the sport and, leave it all on their shoulders to wear it and come back the next year, that needs to change.
No, I'm with you. I've never gotten an actual dollar from Coy Gibbs, but I actually consider him a friend. He's an awesome guy. He's way cooler than he has any right to be. And those guys being in the town that I live in, it's been awesome. And I do feel that way. So unfortunately, though, these are so complicated these days with getting sponsorships. I've said to J-Bone and their business guy, David Evans, 30 times probably in the last 2 years when I knew Auto Trader was going away, is there anything I can do? Is there any headline, any story, any press I can give you guys to help keep your team on the track? Because any team shutting is bad, but if our sport is the sport that even Joe Gibbs Racing couldn't hack it in, at that point, does anyone want to get involved? Like, if Joe Gibbs Racing can't make it happen, what other organization or rich guy or anybody would ever want to invest? So you're right. This would be a huge loss if this doesn't work next year or 5 years from now or whatever. Yeah, we need to help.
And as an agent, as I move forward, as well as looking after, and I've spoke to manufacturers about this, my job is to obviously take care of my clients on and off the track. But right now it's going to shift to really making sure we take care of these teams, from making sure Geico's happy to making sure,
right. Right.
Every title sponsor's happy. That's almost going to become priority one, priority two, wherever you'd like to pit. It depends on the situation. Is to create and build value again within the sport, and even trickles back to the RV being. And we talked about, hey, the pressures when they're champions and they're not doing that much. No, my guys moving forward need to be a figurehead for the sport, ambassador for the sport. I need to break them in the mainstream, from Styles Robinson as my one of my youngest to all these guys. We need to break the mold. I need to. The day I think I made it is when the top 3 results from Supercross is on SportsCenter. Can we get there? Damn right we can, with the right guys.
Yeah, what you're saying is the personality goes a long way. Yeah, it does. Yep. Yeah, because if you had this current Ryan Villopoto personality while he was winning, maybe that would have done it. If you got him being a little... Yep.
Look, I want... And there's certain stuff that we're going to launch out. Like, I have a new young client that's going to really do something. I'm not going to name it, but we're going to do a big rollout for his last years of amateurs all the way to his pro deal, where people feel like they know him, right? From Netflix, that we have the avenues now. And as an agent, and every agent out there needs to follow this, we have, there's Hulu, there's Netflix, there's Amazon Prime TV, there's YouTube, there's their own social channels. We've got to utilize that better to make sure that, man, if you go for coffee in Charlotte, Cam Newton's there, and he'd be like, oh, you're the motocross guy. Hey, I watched that Cooper Webb documentary. That's awesome. You know that guy? That's where we got to get to, right?
Well, yeah, it's true. F1 is owned by a media company now, and the outgrowth of that was this phenomenal, documentary that they had on Netflix last year, and I found it more fun to watch that than any of the races. And
unbelievable.
Yeah, it was superb. And suddenly you're like way more interested in it than actually watching a race. That was better. Right. So
and there's one guy that I'll give major props to, is that's Jeremy Millard at Red Bull.
Yep. Yes.
He's phenomenal. Me and him share the same philosophy and vision on a lot of stuff, and he's gonna become, he's great for the sport. He can't leave, because the stuff he does is directly along the lines of that. So.
Yeah, he's definitely got alternative ideas of how to promote things, and it's not just having a race and making that race as good as the race can possibly be. There's a lot of other ways that people and personalities and athletes get famous these days.
Props to Hammer. He's great.
Yep. The disruptor. That's what I've decided. He's a disruptor. He's trying to break some of the old molds.
Okay, I'm going to stop the interview right there. We're an hour in. We'll have another hour next week. Hope it's enlightening to get deep inside how some of this works with Lucas Mirtl. By the way, shout out to Air Medcare Network. What if you're hospitalized with an injury far from home? You'd want to recover close to family and friends. And with an Air Medcare Network Fly You Home membership, you'll have control of where you're treated. You'll be transported to your local hospital of choice with no out-of-pocket costs. Save $10 with the offer code 10MOTO. Go to airmedcarenetwork.com/RacerX offer 1. By the way, you're probably saying to yourself, dude, there's no way I can afford some sort of membership that allows me to get an Air Med flight from a racetrack to the hospital near my house. You actually can. It's shockingly cheap. To the point where when I say you save $10 at RacerX, that's actually a decent percentage. I don't even understand how this works. Going off here. Off script. Go to airmedcarenetwork.com and you'll see. And also thanks to Yoshimura, our title sponsor. Make your machine look, sound, and perform better. I just made that tagline up. I just made that up. They got 65 years of four-stroke research and development. How could it not work? You should check out their awesome exhaust for those new Honda trail bikes. It just makes the bike look cool and everything else is a bonus. So that's Yoshimura-RD.com. That's our show. Thanks to Lucas Mirtl. We'll be back in a few days with more